Welcome to the Daily Mastermind. I am your host, Sonny Von Cleveland. Believe it or not, you have already have a profound impact on the people that are closest to you in their lives. Understanding why we are passionate about the things that we profess puts us in a unique position to influence those people to find their why and empower them to live their best life. Today, we're discussing how you can define your why and how it can enrich your life right here on the Daily Mastermind. Hello, everybody. It is your boy, Sonny Von Cleveland, back with your girl,
Claire.
And today we are discussing your why, how to define your why. If this is your first time joining us, please do us a big favor, subscribe, like, comment, and share the video to help other people find the content and get motivated in their lives. Today we're discussing finding your why. It's so important to know why you do what you do and the passion that you have for the things that you have, because defining that why emanates with everybody else that you come into contact with. Claire, tell us the importance of discovering and defining your why.
Well, it's important to discover and define your why, because if you don't discover why you're doing your why, you are usually living a life based on what other people's expectations are of you. And that ultimately will lead to you feeling dissatisfied and unhappy in life. For example, if you go to college or university and you study something that you have absolutely zero passion about, but your parents told you to do it because you'll get a good job at the end, that's the wrong why. And so you may go to college, you may get good grades, you may become a lawyer, and you may be a very successful lawyer, but you might be miserable because you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for someone else. So it's really important that everything that we endeavor to do in life, we're doing because we want to do it. And so therefore we have to define our why.
Facts. I have dedicated my life to helping people and to trying to motivate and inspire other people to live their best life. And the reason, my why behind doing that is we are all designed to give. Like there's something hardwired in our brain that releases an endorphin when we give something, right? So when you give away to other people, especially in the motivational, life-changing realm, you get to see that impact on people, because more often than not, when you inspire someone to define their why and live their passion, they will inspire somebody else. And it's a domino effect. And it butterflies out to everybody that they come into contact with, because I think when you learn the reason for your passion, you can't help but to share it, right? Like I feel an innate need to share the things that I've learned with other people, because I've seen the impact that it has on my life, and I want other people to enjoy that same impact. What do you think?
And I'm the exact same way. That's my key motivator in life, is that I love to help people. It makes me feel really good inside. So you could say I'm actually innately selfish because I'm trying to feel good inside all the time, but try to help someone and not feel good. It doesn't happen. So my motivation in life is, can I inspire? Can I help someone? Can I tell someone about the stupid things I've done in my life and how I had to pick myself up again? Can I use my experiences to help and inspire people? It makes me feel like $1,000,000 inside. So that's my why, is share my life story, share in any way, shape, or form that I can. And that's my driver in life.
I think it's also vitally important in discovering our why, because it makes everything that we do that much more profound, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I endeavor to do something, while I'm doing it, I know why I'm doing it. It makes it so much more profound while I'm doing it and when I finish it, right? I get to look at the thing, and I do it from every perspective. When I take on a new job, I've had several jobs out here while I'm waiting for our cafe to open. And as I sit there, sometimes I'm like, I could be doing something different, or I could be doing something better with my time. And I look, why am I doing this? And the more often than not, it's coming down because I want to help these people. These people have done something nice or pleasant to me in my life, and I see the deficiency in those businesses. And so I know that if I can come in and infect people with happiness and motivation and inspiration, it will increase the business. So I am able to do the job with that much more passion and gusto and happiness because I know at the end of the day, it's doing everybody a favor, and it's helping inspire and motivate and put smiles on people's faces.
I think it ultimately comes down to what everybody's individual meaning of life is. Not everybody has the same meaning of life, but if you can define what your meaning of life is and what your life purpose is, then you know your whys. And then every time you do something in life, if you find that it's not aligned with your why or what your meaning of life is, you can stop it. And then that stops you from an unhappy life and also stops you from living in autopilot mode. It's very easy in society to live in autopilot mode. We can, wake up and have our coffee, brush our teeth, go to work all day, work 8-12 hours a day or whatever, come home, turn the TV on, scroll through social media, watch mind-numbing stuff on TV. You can end up just living in autopilot mode, and there's no why in any of that equation. You've gone into autopilot mode. But if you can snap yourself out of autopilot mode and actually say, well, actually, why am I here on this earth? Why do I think that I matter on this earth? What is my purpose? What is my meaning of life? By having that then clear definition, you can then stop the unnecessary things and focus exclusively on your whys.
And Marcus Aurelius, in his book Meditations, even points out that you should employ a why to every single thing that you do in life. Every aspect of your life, everything that you do should have a definition. It should have a why to it. And it makes the endeavor that you're in that much more profound, right? So whatever it is that you're doing, and I want to help people to figure out and how to define your why. So in a process, when you take something on, right? Whenever you say yes to something, you're giving yourself, you're giving your time, right? You have precious time, and you're giving of yourself for somebody else. You're doing something for someone else. So in order to define why it is, ask yourself, what am I doing this for? What is the positive effect? What is the long-term effect? And does that effect help me and help anybody else? And when you can train your mind so that those questions are habits. It's a habit no matter what you do. You pick up a broom to sweep your kitchen floor. Why? Why am I doing this? What is there to be gained from it? Right? There's so much. I don't even know how to say the profundity is not a word, but I'm creating it right now. Profundity in sweeping your floor. Right? So it's not just to clean up the dirt. It does something to your mind and your psyche that the house is clean. It's beautiful. It doesn't matter what kind of home you live in. When you clean it up, it puts you in a state of mind that is happy and calm and peace because you're surrounded by cleanliness. So when you sweep that floor, just know every stroke that you're doing, not just for you, but for anybody else that enters that space, that it's a safe and validating and clean environment, that they don't have to be on the defensive. They don't have to look around. And have you ever gone into a dirty home? You go into a dirty home and you can't concentrate. You can't even focus on anything because you're just like, ugh, right?
Yeah.
So you can find a why in every single thing that you do. That's so much more than just doing the thing. Like Claire said, a lot of us have the routine of wake up, brush your teeth, make your coffee, check your emails, go to work. And you're an autopilot. You don't have a why for doing it. So you don't put your heart and soul into the project that you're doing because there's no why to it. You're not defining it. So I would admonish everybody to anything that you do, ask yourself those very basic questions. Why am I doing it? Who does it benefit? Does it hurt anything?
And also I would take it a step further as well, as you can't do this with everything in life, but if you're asked to do something, you should say to yourself, is my gut reaction a hell yeah or a hell no? And I would argue a lot of us say, hell yeah, because we don't want to be seen as being selfish, or we don't want to be judged, or, we might not have time to do something, but oh, well, I better say yes anyway, because I don't want to let this person down. I don't want to hurt them. I don't want them to have a bad time, blah, 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 blah. Right. So you're basically, you're not doing it for the right reasons. Your why is not for the right reasons. It's fear of judgment, fear of being seen as selfish, or whatever it is. But I would argue that if you can get to your state where you say to yourself, hell yeah, because I really want to freaking do it, or hell no, don't do it. I mean, you can't do that with everything. Some things you just have to do. You have to go to work. You can't just say to your boss, hell no, I'm not doing that. You can't do
Right.
that. You're going to get sacked, right? But outside of work or outside of obligations that you don't need to say yes to, ask yourself, why are you saying yes when your gut instinct is saying no? And if you can't come up with a good logical reason as to why you're doing it, if it's just because you're putting out somebody else's needs first and you don't need to, you got to get comfortable with saying no. And no is a complete sentence. We tend to say no and then give like 15 convoluted reasons and excuses as to why we can't do something. Instead, we have to get comfortable with just saying, I'm afraid that's just not going to work out for me.
Right.
Done.
And you don't have to define that. You don't have to define or.
I'm sorry, that's just not going to work out.
Right. And then on the flip side of it, it can help with your empathy as well. When you make it a habit of defining a why, it becomes a habit for empathy as well. When somebody else does something, take a moment to try to anticipate and understand their why. A lot of times we see, bosses or supervisors or managers that are in other positions, and they may do something that we don't understand why they did it. Like, I just don't understand why they are the way they are. If you try to break down their why, even maybe ask them their why. I don't want to know why you did it. I want to know why you do it. You want to know the deeper definition of why somebody does something. So when somebody does something that you disagree with, try to discover their why. Why would they be doing it? I've had multiple bosses that I thought were assholes, for lack of a better term, and then sitting down analyzing why they did what they did. They're in a business, right? So they need to perform as good as possible. They want the business to perform as good as possible because they're trying to impact somebody else's life. They're trying to change lives. They may not be trying to change the people's lives that work for them, but they're trying to change somebody's life. And they're utilizing the best principles that they know how to get the maximum performance out of something. And while I don't advocate just blindly utilizing employees to achieve an end, I think you should empathize and have a why for everybody and everything that happens. You can empathize with people why they do what they do, because at the end of the day, I don't think most people do things from an evil or selfish point of view. I think there's always an altruistic why behind what everybody does, even if that point of view is a little skewed, right?
Absolutely. I think actually that's probably my superpower. My biggest superpower is, you've seen me, like 99% of the time, I won't react to something, because I'm always, the first question I'm asking myself internally is, what is driving this person's behavior? And then I start making, not excuses in my head, but I start creating justifications in my head. Well, maybe this person is going through a divorce. Maybe their kid got sick. Maybe their kid just died or is diagnosed with cancer. Maybe they lost a loved one. Maybe they just lost their job. I'm not condoning behavior, but I'm trying to figure out what the driver is. And sometimes I'll just come right out to somebody and say, my perception is that I have irritated you and you're being quite rude to me. Can you help me understand if that's a correct perception? And usually that will just snap someone out of it and go, actually, I didn't mean that, something's going on in my life, and so forth. Because to your point, I don't think people intentionally try to be assholes or jerks. I think usually it's because they feel invalidated in their life, or something's going on in their lives, and so they feel stressed and so forth. And so I don't tend to react to it, because I'm like, your why is not a bad why. I think something's just going on in your life, and so it triggers my empathy. Again, it's not that I condone behavior. It's just, one, why am I going to respond to someone who is acting poorly or whatever it may be, why am I going to respond that way? Because it's not going to help the situation if I respond as an asshole. That's not going to help. And also, I don't know what somebody's going through on the other side. Are they going through panic attacks? Are they going through anxiety or depression? Have they lost a kid or whatever it is? So try to ask yourself what is driving somebody else's behavior before you respond to something.
And when you employ that type of mentality, you unlock so much potential for learning and growing, because it teaches you how to empathize with what someone else is going through, and even potentially opens the door for you to help somebody grow and learn themselves.
Well, usually if you call them out on it, if you say, you know, my perception is I feel as though you're being rude to me and I want to understand what I've done to trigger this response from you, usually they'll open up and tell you something that has absolutely nothing to do with you. And they're just looking for a window, to a chance to talk about whatever's bothering them.
Right. It even goes back to bullying, right? Like, bullies bully because they're being bullied. Right. Nobody ever just wakes up and says, you know what, today I'm just going to go pick on people. It's always a cause and effect that takes place, and they don't know why. If you ask a bully, why do you bully? Define your why and why you bully. I promise you, none of them are like, because it does good, it helps the world. They're not going to come with that. There's something in their life that they're dealing with that hurts them, and they don't know how to put that out. I see we have a question or something from Jessica. Says, now I have to pay for it. Now I'm on sick leave for a long time. I've been working too hard over 2 years. Now I've gone in the Fannis wall. Acute stress syndrome, says the doc. I may have been mistaken. I don't know what that's about there, Jessica.
I've been there. If I may jump in there. I did that. I was a director of sales, $2 billion a year sales target, working 12, 15 hours a day, working weekends and so forth. And I started suffering from panic attacks, anxiety, and depression because I just could not keep up with that workload. So I hear you. I've been to where you have been, and it sucks. But just know you will get through it. It's hard. It's hard when you're in the eye of the storm, but just know that you will go through it. And perhaps when you're feeling well enough, ask yourself, well, what is my why for what I'm doing that caused that situation? You know, for me, I asked that why am I doing this? And I realized I didn't have a good enough why. You know, I was working this job that it made me lots of money, and I had lots of sexy shoes and handbags and a lot of external things, but I was trading my health for my wealth. And so when I came to that realization, I realized that my why was not good enough. My health was not worth losing for this job. So just ask yourself, why am I doing this, and how can I get out of it? And I'll be completely honest with you, I couldn't get out of it straight away. You have bills to pay and so forth, and mortgages and so forth, so you may not get out of it straight away. But if you can start asking those questions, what is my why, you can then start coming up with another why, one that's more aligned to who you are, and then you can start making those steps to change your life.
And take it one step at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time. And the more you put one foot in front of the other, the farther you're going to get, right? Like if you stand up and put one foot in front of the other, you have no choice but to move forward. Right?
And Jesse, just so you know as well, actually from that awful period, I created a new why. I created a company from it. You know, I created Itopia. I became a mindset coach. I went back to school part-time and studied coaching. I became a motivational speaker to talk about my journey of recovering from corporate burnout and so forth. So just know that when you're in the eye of the storm, sometimes greatness is on the other side of it. You don't see it necessarily straight away. I didn't find it straight away, but when you come out of that eye of the storm, you can find a higher purpose.
And always, I would say always, not sometimes, always, when you're going through diversity or you're going through a struggle, there's always something greater on the other side. There's always something to learn. There's always something to grow from. And whatever it is that you're enduring right now, analyze what you can learn from it and how it's going to benefit your life. I read something so profound the other day, and I don't remember the captain's name, but inverted paranoia, I think is what it was.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Inverted paranoia. Instead of thinking that the world is out to sabotage you, think and make a habit of thinking that the world is here to help you. The world is working for you. There are forces at work that are trying to make your life better. And every obstacle that you come across is designed, it's a lesson. It's designed to teach you something so that you can achieve greatness. Anything that you go through that's negative, it's not a bad thing. It's not, oh, my life is falling apart. It's a journey. It's an experience. It's a lesson to be learned so that on the other side of it, and just tell yourself, when I get through this, when I get on the other side, there's going to be a great valuable lesson here so that I can do something greater afterwards. And then just endure, because whatever you're going through, you've been through worse, and you're going to come out the other side. And it's going to help you define your why when you get to the other side. That's about all the time we're going to have for today. What do we have coming up? I'm Buddha bullying all day today. We're doing 3 separate speaking engagements at a middle school for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. We already did one this morning. Fantastic turnout. 80 kids were there from 6th grade. 7th grade's coming up next, and then 8th grade a little bit later. So I've been willing. Thank you so much to my baby. She nursed me and buttercupped me yesterday and has put me in a position where I can actually talk a little bit today, and I was even doing some singing. And so I'm feeling much better, and we're going to go change the world. And this is why. This is my why I do this, because today I have impacted so many kids. There were so many questions, so many, they related, they understood, and it was just incredible, an incredible feeling. And that's why I do what I do, because that impact can save a life. It can change somebody's life. And that's why I do it. So we do got to go. Claire, what's coming up? Do you have anything on deck?
I'm doing a Frisky Business Palm Springs Cat Cafe live at some point today. I'm not sure what time. I was going to do it just now, but I've just heard somebody doing a leaf blower behind me, so I'm going to have to postpone slightly. But I'm going to do a Frisky Business live on everything that's happening with the Cat Cafe and updates. And then this evening, Sunny and I are doing our daily check-in on how we're doing with our 66-day challenge and so forth. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm just basically working on Frisky Business today.
Love it. All right. Well, we're going to end this up with the final words of the day. So, Claire, tell them some final inspirational words for the day.
So I keep saying this over and over again, and you can tell I'm a Gen Xer because I didn't grow up with technology. So as a Gen Xer, I'm all about pen and paper. So what I'd say is get yourself a pen and paper and write down all of the things that you do in a day. It's going to take you a while. And write down your why next to it. Why am I doing this? I'm doing it because I have to, because somebody else tells me to do it, because I want to, I don't want to, and so forth. And then just whittle down how much of your day are you actually spending on things on your own why, and how much of your day are you spending on somebody else's why. And then if you can, start journaling on how you can start flipping the scale the other way so that you're primarily doing whatever your why is.
I love it. I love it. I want to say, every one of us have something coming up today or tomorrow. You have something on your schedule, right? Everybody's got something to do either today or tomorrow. You have something coming up. Think about it. Before you do it, spend a little bit of time today analyzing what you have coming up and define why you're doing it. What is it going to benefit you? What is it going to benefit other people? Find the why. Determine what it's going to do, and if you cannot come up with something positive that's going to come out of it, find a way to make something positive come out of it. And figure out a way that you can do something different or employ some type of tactic that's going to benefit somebody else. Love you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. Love always to Claire. Thank you so much.
I want to step in. Amanda's just said, can we do a show on being different? Absolutely.
Sure. Absolutely, we can do that. We can absolutely do it.
In the coming days, leave that with us. In the coming days, we'll do something like that.
We'll absolutely do a show on being different, because everybody's different and diversity is a gift. Until then, everybody be peaceful, be humble, be kind, love each other, each one teach one. Take the time out for yourself every day, and just know that you're blessed, you're special, you're unique, and you're loved. And we'll see you guys tomorrow right here on the Daily Master.